Hi, everyone. I'm back again. And today we are going to talk about situational interview questions. So, situational interview questions, you should be able to identify anytime you hear, tell me about a time you XYZ. So, again, like I've said before, situational interview questions are, or any kind of interview questions, it's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. So, in a situational interview question, the interviewer is trying to find out a specific thing about you, how you handled a conflict, how you handle failure, how you bounce back, or what you've learned about yourself. And in these kind of situations, the situation could end good or it could end poorly. And what's most important is what you learn from the situation. Like, what would you do differently? How would you go about it if you had to do it again? And that's what they're learning when they're asking these questions. So, one we'll practice today will be tell me about a time that you failed. So, this one, and I always tell folks, it's okay, especially medical students and type A people. We don't fail a lot. So it's totally okay to start the question with, I don't fail a lot. I really try to prevent that in all ways, but I know that that's just part of being human. So one thing that's happened to me recently where I really felt like I failed and didn't meet expectations was a work project that I was given. We had a person leave and I took on their responsibilities, and I just had a really quick training session, literally on the day they were leaving, to get me ready for this task. It was a new form of technology that I had used before, but it had been a really long time, and I really wasn't as in depth at this as this person was. So this person leaves and had been kind of quiet for the work that they had done, and then all of a sudden, all these people started reaching out to me and needing support. And creating new courses and creating different things within the courses. And I was completely at a loss. Like, I had no idea what to do. I went back to every resource I had. I tried to Google. I reached out to our help desk. I did all the things and nothing was working. And what really bothered me about this situation was that I felt like it was okay that I didn't know what I was doing, but my failure to understand the process and to do the things I needed to do was affecting other people. And that was really hard. So I struggled for a couple weeks, and finally I brought it to my supervisor and said, "Look, I need help. I don't know what to do. I'm not getting the resources I need." Just so she could be aware of the struggles that I was having, and she gave me some advice. Turns out I actually didn't have all the authentication and the rights that I needed to be able to do the job in the first place. And so this sense of failure, yes, it existed because I wasn't able to follow through with my work, but it was because there was a barrier in place. And I only found that out because I kept pushing and I kept asking. And so there were really two options in this situation where I could have just given up and said, to heck with it, I'm not doing it. But I pushed through and I found out what was wrong. And now I have the ability to make those changes, and the instructions that I have make sense. So although like nothing was really harmed in that process, it definitely was a failure for a couple weeks because I couldn't follow through and I couldn't help and support staff the way that I wanted to. So in the future, I definitely will reach out sooner. I now have a great contact that I can reach out to if I need to. I'm able to talk to my supervisor, and I can work through these things a lot faster rather than making myself miserable and making the people that I'm trying to help not have the help that they need immediately. So in that situation, I gave you a specific situation. I gave you the details of it. I gave you the frustrations. I gave you how it was resolved. And then I gave you what I learned. So when you're answering a situational interview question, you want to do the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. And that's what I did here. So luckily that one ended well, but there may be situations where you're like, and I never figured out what was wrong. And that was really frustrating. But what I learned from this process, though, is that I exhausted every resource and I gave it everything I could, and that had to be good enough. So it's really the realization of what happened in that space, and then how do you talk through it. So happy to do more of these if you feel like it's helpful, but I just wanted you to see an example of a tell me about a time you, which is your situational interview question. And I hope this helps. Talk to you soon.